Williamson, Inc. serves as Williamson County's Chamber of Commerce and Office of Economic Development. In partnership with the Williamson Herald, WBKM Radio, they brought together Meet the Candidates, an interview series open to all candidates for this office to help inform the community. During these conversations, candidates will share their views, and I may also share some of my own opinions as part of the discussion. Those opinions are my own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Williamson, Inc., the Williamson Herald, WBKM, or any organizations involved in hosting this series. You can find additional voter resources, including these interviews and written candidate profiles, at williamsonchamber.com/vote. Who is Christy Bittinger?
Who is Christy Bittinger?
Mm-hmm.
I have lived in Williamson County since 2004. I have been a mom to a public school student for 10 years and work at HCA Healthcare in Brentwood. So I work here, live here, play here, mom here, support here, all that.
Why do you want to be a 6th District School Board member?
I'm passionate about our schools. I love the education that our daughter has received for the last 10 years. I'm proud of the work that our teachers pour into our students. I've been attending the school board meetings since probably 2021, so a long time. And I'm just civically engaged and want to give back to our community that's given so much to our students and our families around here. And is a money driver of this county for sure.
You have run for this position before.
I have.
And you met the buzzsaw called Jay Galbraith. And buzzsaw fits.
That.
Huh? But you haven't given up.
I have not given it up.
How different a school board member would you be to Jay Galbraith?
I respect and appreciate the years of service. I think this year is 16 years that Jay has given. He may have been the longest running school board member that I know of, and I truly appreciate his years of service to it. I completely understand why he's like, maybe it's time for me to go do something else. We agree on a lot of stuff. We both are champions of our schools. We both want to see what's best for our students and teachers. And I think we both kind of just want to be an advocate truly for this county. He's lived here longer than I have. He went to school here, went to high school here, where my daughter now goes to school. So I'm grateful for that. He did some really good work. I don't know if him and I got to know each other through the last election, and we were friendly, and I was, obviously I wanted to win, but it was good that he stayed on and continued to advocate for our schools.
You ran 4 years ago.
Yes.
The job has changed just in 4 years. For instance, how would you have voted on cell phones in schools? Seems like that may be the biggest issue in the last 4 years.
Well, I was at the school board meeting as those started to come up, and I have a teenager who has had a phone for some time. So I do get the policy. I agree with it that students shouldn't have them in class. The reality of it is they are using them on their breaks, in between classes, during the lunch breaks. And it's a tough choice because I'm a parent that communicates with my kid most of the time, like during the day when I need to know what time she wants to be picked up, or like just today, what are you bringing me for a snack? And it's Starbucks, and there's always some snack coming her way. So it's a difficult thing because I understand them not having it in class, and I agree with that. I don't know if I necessarily agree with them not having access to their phones throughout the day, just because, again, I have a teenager that needs to go to activities and things like that, and it's been very helpful for me to be able to communicate with her. Most of her kids' classmates her friends are in school, so they're talking in person to each other. I think they have discussed recently like purchasing pouches to put and I know some school districts have done that, but that would be a significant cost to our county when we need those funds to be directed towards probably other things than that. But
Here's a situation that's only gotten worse in the last 4 years. Williamson County is perceived by the state legislature that we don't need the money we send them. And therefore other counties get that money. Now, I'm not sure there's much a school board member can do about that, but they can sure raise a little cane with members of the legislature that live here. It seems like that would be frustrating, where other counties don't pay as big a share as this county does, and we don't get to keep our fair share.
I mean, I guess in the last TISA passing that happened, I think we're getting roughly $8,000 a student. I don't know if my math is exactly correct off the top of my head. Yeah, it's a tough situation. I mean, we are a very wealthy county, and we should be getting our fair share of it because our teacher retention needs to stay or get better and stronger. And the only way we're going to do that is if we continue to pay our teachers what they deserve to be treated or deserve to be paid. I know that our county is one of the lowest in the area for teacher pay, and that doesn't work. That doesn't balance to me with the academic standards that we have in this county and the taxes that we pay into it and the money that we're putting into our schools. I mean, it's a tough situation, but the school board kind of has its hands tied. They don't dictate. The county commission dictates our budgets. Yes, like this coming month in 2 weeks, we're going to be they discuss this budget that's going to be going through, and they approve it on where the buckets of money are going through. But ultimately, it's a county commission decision, and I think that is where having collaboration and working together with our county commission is an important role for school board members to work with our county commissioners, whether it's people in my District 6 or all the county commissioners, to highlight the importance of that pay, which then hopefully feeds to our state representatives that represent and speak up for our county too.
As a school board member, what's your attitude toward what's inside the book covers of textbooks, whether it be science, history, math? How involved should a school board member be in choosing textbooks?
Well, I mean, like I said, I've been going to these meetings for several years, and we do have a very rigorous process on how the textbooks are chosen. There is a committee that's formed of teachers, administration, principals. There are some parents on there. I believe there's at least 1 or 2 school board members that are on each of those textbooks committees. And I believe that we need to trust our teachers and our administration, that they are education professionals. They open up the textbook selection to the public. Any one of us could go to those selection meetings and see what's going and have an input, come to the school board meetings, voice your opinions, speak to your school board member, give your opinions to them. But there needs to be a balance of trusting our educators that have gone to school and put the work into this in the months that they put into studying these textbooks and just digging into the companies that are putting the textbooks out and how, So I think there is a really strong process already in place, and I think our school board does a really good job of working that process. And I mean, if parents want to be involved, then they should go to these textbook review committees and look at the reviews and then speak to your school board member or come to the school board meetings and do public comment.
You brought up the term school board policies. There are a lot of them.
A lot of them.
In fact, I think a part of every school board meeting, it seems like a part of every school board meeting is dedicated to some policy or the other. How can one board member stay on top of all of those policies?
Well, I guess that's kind of what we sign up for when we're running for these offices. I mean, like I said, I've been going to the meetings for a long time. There's also policy committee meetings that are monthly. Then there's Thursday night, there's work sessions that sometimes go hours into the night. And so there, yes, this is a role, but you're signing, if you're dedicated to promoting our amazing schools, then that's kind of the job you're signing up for. And yes, there's a lot of policy, And it just takes education, just like any job that we sign up to do. You need to do your homework. If we ask our kids to do homework, we're going to do the homework too, right? So,
why is only one incumbent school board member running for re-election?
no, but I mean, I don't know.
Mm.
I guess it's a question for the incumbent to ask that question. I mean, from the people that I know, like Dan and Jay, they've been on it for a long time. Both of them have given a lot of service to this county and to the school board. And I mean, I appreciate the work that they put into it. It's a lot, people don't realize it's not just the school board meetings. It is responding to emails, it's phone calls, it's attending events at the schools, it's the policy committee meetings, it's being on textbook committees. There's a lot of work that actually goes into it, and to be doing that as a volunteer service, as a civic duty, that's a big responsibility, and they have given a lot of time and energy to it.
School board really only has one employee. Evaluate him.
Oh, you mean Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
I think Jason's done a strong job of leading a complex, large organization, if I'm right. You guys, Chamber, can correct me. They're the #1 employer in Williamson County. Maybe. They're one of the largest.
Close to it. Yes,
close to it, the largest.
Close to it. It's
and to run that size, I'm going to say a company, right? An organization of that size takes a lot of.
It's about 8,000 employees.
That's a lot. That's a lot in this county, and to just, I think he's done a good job of, he managed through COVID. I mean, besides, before he was superintendent, he was the COO, right? If I'm right. So he's been a dedicated servant to our Williamson County schools. You can see it in our academic scores and our achievements. And I think he's done a strong job. If anything, I mean, a school board member's job is to evaluate them, but it's building that relationship with him, that you guys can work together. And just, if from what I get from him is he's very open to working with each school board member. He listens and takes his time. I mean, nobody's perfect at their job, but I think he does a good job.
In this particular election, the number of independents is pretty high.
Oh, really?
Are you an independent? Are you a Republican? Or are you a Democrat?
I just as last time. When they changed that law several years ago to make our school boards partisan, I did not agree with that. I think school boards, a lot like county commission, are operational, and our job is to be champions of our Williamson County schools for the parents, teachers, staff, and I would rather focus my energy on keeping our schools strong, have a healthy school district that welcomes people into this county and keeps their growth and our academic scores up. And if I'm focused on the politics of it all, that takes away from my job of being a champion for our schools.
Why do you think growth among, especially, I think it's middle school students, why is that flattened?
Well, I think it's our elementary students.
Is the elementary level that is flattened?
It's declined some. I don't know if it's because younger families are not moving into Williamson County. I'm not exactly sure, because I mean, our schools are the strongest in the state. Some would say we're the strongest in the country. Sorry. So I don't know if what the reason is that younger families are not moving in and more kids are graduating. I don't know if it's the age of people that were having kids, and then like the baby boomers or my generation, they're graduating and moving on, and people younger than me aren't having as many kids. Or
average price of $1.5 million might have something to do with it too.
That's true. That's true. We are a very expensive county to live in, and it takes a lot of money to work here, live here, play here, have schools here.
What do you do for a living?
I am an executive assistant for HCA.
That's right. You have already told me that. You need to come up with a memory pill for this old man.
Goodness, no.
All right. Have I not asked you a question you were prepared to answer and wanted me to ask you? I'm asking that question now.
What changes have you seen? You've been doing this a long time. What changes have you seen in our school boards?
Rogers Anderson.
Okay.
He made the conscious decision when he was a county commissioner and decided to run for what then was called county judge, that we had to build this county on something, and he built it on public education. And now he's not running again. I get to interview the mayor's candidates tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
or soon.
I mean, he's another one that has dedicated so many years of service to this county, and I mean, it's honorable to see that. And
when I first met Rogers Anderson, he was picking up rocks on a baseball field that belonged to what is now called Williamson County Parks and Recreation.
Oh.
But he'd go out and pick up the rocks. So, but that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Thanks. Good chat with you for the second time.
Kimberly Calco wants to be a member of the school board in the 6th District. Where is the 6th District?
So we are located on the east side of Brentwood, all the way up kind of to the county line on the north side of Concord, all the way down to Split Log, heading south. So east side of Brentwood.
Is representing the 6th District on the school board any different than representing the 2nd District, which is considerably more country?
I think that when you're representing your district, you always have nuances within your communities that you're trying to bring to the table to make sure that you're getting a good idea, because Williamson County is really large. And because of that, you have a lot of area that it covers and a lot of different demographics. And so I think that there are a lot of, I think we're all striving for the same thing, which is absolutely top schools. But I think that there are nuances from each of our communities that we bring. So that's why I think it's important to have good representation from all over the county.
Why do you want to be a member of the school board? I'm making a presumption. I presume you're a parent.
That is correct.
Okay.
So I'm a mom of 4 children. All my children have attended Williamson County schools. I'm also a local realtor, so I know exactly how important our schools are to our community. I've had the ability to work on some things at the state, which has really given me a lot of passion and interest and insight into education, especially as I've worked on educational legislation. But I've also had the opportunity here locally to work on our technology committee for the district-wide technology committee, which has allowed us to work on a framework on how we want to see technology used here in our school system. And so those things have shown me that I think we really need to have a vision for the things that our schools need to adapt to the ever-changing economy to make our kids successful in the real world. And I think that that would include making sure that we have good curriculum in front of our students, that we are putting good resources in our teachers' hands, and that we are attracting and retaining the best, most quality teachers. So that vision is why I'm running.
Are you running as an independent, as a Republican, as a Democrat?
I'm running as a Republican, and in the 6th District, I am the only Republican running, so I am the presumed nominee.
This is a pretty Republican county.
It is, absolutely.
So, let's look at where you have come from and where you would like to see the district go. When you're the top rated district in Tennessee, there are expectations. Mm-hmm. First of all, is it the best school system in Tennessee? We don't pay our teachers the best. We're actually on down. We're maybe in the top 10. But from that standpoint, what can we do to improve?
I think that we are one of the best school districts in the state, but I think that there's always room for improvement, especially as the needs in our community and in our state and even in our nation change. So I believe that we need to continue to strive for that. And again, to your point, I do think that we need to have a real conversation about attracting and retaining quality teachers, and that begins with pay. So we really are going to have to collaborate with our county commission to see how we can make sure that we're getting those dollars in our community to retain those teachers, because we have some wonderful ones. I've had great experiences with my children. But also, I think we do need to reach out to our legislators at the state and continue to collaborate with them so that we can try to get some of those dollars back into our community. Because while the formulas are more advantageous than they were, there's still some room for work on those.
TISA's not fair to Williamson County, is
Not currently. So
you mentioned technology a few minutes ago. Is the average seventh grader in Williamson County more likely to be able to function with AI than this 75-year-old curmudgeon?
well, so when we look at technology, I think around COVID, we switched to a very technology-based education. And honestly, it was a feather in our cap because that was the way that we were able to continue education. So I think it was done with the best of intentions. But I think as we're seeing technology, we have learned a lot and we know more now, so we need to do better now. So right now, I do believe that K through 8, we really should be pulling back technology. The studies really support it. The data is there. But to answer your question, yes, I think most of our seventh graders are very adept at their computers, and they are very capable of using most of the apps better than a lot of us. But the question is that really the best thing for their education? Is that giving them the foundational skills they need? And the information that we're seeing is maybe not. And so I think we do need to dive a little deeper, which is one of the things we've done on the technology committee. And we're really creating a framework for what we want to see that usage look like so that we can give our kids the best opportunity for success.
A great deal is made about athletics, the arts, academics, the 3 A's.
That's right.
All three of those can be very pricey.
They can.
I agree that a parent has a vested interest in the Williamson County School Board. I also think a taxpayer has a very much a vested interest in the Williamson County School Board.
That's right.
We haven't built a school in 2 or 3 years. We're probably going to have to resume building or increasing the size or renovating. But we haven't had to buy any raw land in a while. When will that flattened growth rate inflate again?
Great question. So, as of right now, if we look across the county, especially in certain municipalities, there is already approved development in those particular cities. And speaking of like Nolensville, even Fairview, and out towards District 8. So there are already approved communities where we know we have, in some areas, thousands of houses that will be built. So while our growth rate may have plateaued currently, we do foresee that we are going to have growth in some of those areas. So that will have, I think that's a real conversation that we're going to have to take a look at and go, our schools really needed in this area, and we are going to have to consider that 5-year strategic plan that they came up with, and we're going to have to consider what we need to do to make sure we can accommodate those schools, because the state of Tennessee says we have to build schools if we have a certain number of children. So we're going to have to accommodate that.
As a realtor, would you agree with Williamson Inc. that Williamson County Schools is our top sales pitch?
I think it's on target. Absolutely. I know that it's one of the things that drew me and my husband to this community. We lucked out. It was the schools that drew us here, but it's the community that keeps us here. And so we love living here, and I think that that's our number one asset. That doesn't mean that we don't have other great things to offer. We obviously do, but our schools are what draw the majority of people here.
Are Williamson County schools safe enough?
I personally have had a really great experience with my children at the schools. They have a lot of safety mechanisms in place to make sure that our children are kept safe on campus. I think that there's always things, it's an ever-evolving technology environment. So I think that there are always things we can look at to make sure that we create an environment that's the safest. And I think that that's something we're going to have to continue to look at as technology evolves.
There's a proposed piece of legislation in front of the legislature right now that anybody who wants to teach should have to take a civics test. Now, I'm of the opinion that on its face that sounds good, but only if the legislators will take the same test. What do we need to do to attract? We have great teachers.
We do.
We have some long-term great teachers.
We do.
Are there other things besides salary or money that we can be doing for teachers that will make us more competitive for the very best ones?
So my background was in human resources. And one of the things that we were always told is sometimes money will attract a teacher or a person to a job, but the culture keeps them. So we need to make sure that within our school system, we create a culture that's welcoming, that is supportive, and that those teachers will want to stay there because it's the best place to work. And so I firmly believe that we need to continue to strive for that. I know it's been some challenging years, especially in the early 2020s. And at times it felt like there was maybe a disconnect between the teachers and the school board and the administration. And we really need to get back to having that collaborative environment where we're all rowing in the same direction for our kids. And I think that because we do have wonderful teachers, we want to make sure that we keep those teachers. And I think that creating a good culture is imperative.
There are thousands of teachers. There are probably just as many support personnel.
Mm-hmm.
They don't work for you.
No. They
work for the superintendent.
That's correct.
You only have one employee.
That's right.
How's he doing?
At this time, I think I've watched every school board meeting for the past 5 or 6 years. And I think that I would want to have the opportunity to understand what his goals are and how he's achieving those goals. I think that's the measure or the metric that he has to achieve, and whatever metric that is, or whatever metric that the school board sets out is potentially guiding his vision for the school district. So I want to make sure that we get in there, and as somebody with an HR background, I want to make sure that I get in there and I want to look and see what his goals have been and make sure that we are creating goals that are truly giving us the results we want. So to answer your question, I think I would want to get in there and work with him and understand what he's been tasked with to understand how he's doing and meeting those metrics.
I guess this question is, how Republican are you? Can you separate being a Republican, a member of the Republican Party, and being a member of the school board? Sometimes the two may not gee-haw. I'm sorry, that's a country term.
That's okay.
But how partisan should a school board member be?
Sorry. I think that while these are partisan races, we have no choice over that. To be honest, I'm Republican. I've always been Republican. I definitely have a conservative worldview, and I think that that's obviously a lens that I'm going to look through. But the bottom line is these kids are not partisan. And I think if we're all rowing in the same direction and we have the kids and what's best for them at heart, we can always have a meeting of the minds. Even when I've worked at legislation at the state, recently we helped pass legislation to give more kids elementary recess. And that was a bipartisan effort and it was even bipartisan support at the state, at Cordell Hall. And the reason for that is because when you have good ideas and you are putting the kids' their needs and their best interest at heart, you can always come to a meeting of the minds regardless of where you stand. So I think that that's important to bring that to the school board.
Last question.
Yes.
About recess. Obviously, you've thought about it.
Yes.
How much recess? I presume there are 3 different levels of recess: elementary, middle, and high school. How do you determine? I get a notice on my computer every afternoon. You've worked 6 consecutive hours without a break.
Yeah.
That's a no-no.
We do recommend getting up and taking a walk.
Yeah. Well, and I barely remember being in school. And I remember maybe 15 minutes of how much recess is needed.
Well, so According to the studies, the best results come from 1 hour of recess a day.
An hour.
An hour, yes.
Wow.
Now,
I could take a nap.
There you go. We weren't able to achieve that at the state level, but again, working collaboratively, we were able to improve. We originally had 15 minutes required by state law for our elementary students, and we were able to increase that to 40 minutes. So while not perfect, it's still progress. And we don't want the perfect to get in the way of progress.
Mhm.
And so at least at the elementary level, we are making progress and we are seeing some great things in our classrooms. I know that my son's teacher told me that not only is it helpful for her class, but it's helpful for her to have some downtime and to kind of recalibrate during the day. So to answer your question on middle school and high school, we actually didn't touch that part of the law, but because it brought more attention to the law, school districts all over the state began implementing the 90 minutes per week of recess that middle school and high school are supposed to have. The one caveat we made is it's supposed to be device free because it's really meant to be an opportunity for people to kind of decompress and to socialize, which is a lost skill these days in a lot of our schools. So we wanted to make sure that there's room in the day for not only their intellectual academic opportunities, but also for those social engagement opportunities.
Good luck to you.
Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.